Okay, so next speaker is our very own Mitch Lunceford. Mitch is one of Avalanche Media's, one of our most experienced senior strategists who has managed operations across digital marketing services, including paid search, SEO, social media, content, marketing automation, and more. Today, he's going to be talking about promoting evergreen content on omnichannel with an omnichannel approach.
Thank you. So I'm going to be talking about why it's important to take an omni-channel approach to marketing, as well as how to use omni-channel with your evergreen content. But before I get into that, I want to talk about the consumer. Everything we do as marketers is because of the consumer. We essentially market because the consumer needs to be marketed to. All of our marketing is geared around the consumer. As a big example, you've probably heard a lot over the years, all of our consumers started shifting over to mobile. So what did we do as marketers? We started optimizing our websites for mobile. We made sure users can convert on mobile, improved all of our page speeds. We also shifted all of our PPC spend over towards mobile devices. And we also created apps. And I really love this quote right here. It says, "Today, you are not behind your competition, you are not behind the technology, you are behind your consumer," which is absolutely true. If our consumers move over to a platform such as Facebook and they spend all their time over on Facebook, we as marketers need to move over to that. So when a customer hears about a product or service today, their first reaction is, "Let me search for it." They then go on a journey of discovery about a product, a service, an issue, or even an opportunity. And that consumer behavior and that consumer journey has massively changed over the years. Early marketing touch points used to be simple things like TV, brick and mortar, radio, maybe print ads in a magazine. Just 5 to 10 years ago, we started adding a lot more different touch points that a consumer can go through. And then in today's marketing world, there are countless touch points that a consumer can go through, and it just gets more and more complex over time. So just 15 years ago, the average consumer typically only used 2 touch points when buying an item, and only 7% regularly used more than 4, which is absolutely crazy. According to Google, online consumer touch points now range from 20 to 500. So numerous different touch points that consumers go through now. And then now during 2020, customer experience will overtake price and product as the key brand differentiator. So I wanted to go through our Google Analytics and look at some of our clients' analytics and see what those customer journeys were like. And you've probably looked at this before. You can go into Google Analytics, go to your conversions, and go look at your top conversion paths to see how people are converting. This is what I've seen. You've probably seen stuff very similar to this, like this first one here. Came in through paid search, then organic, came back direct, and then converted. Starts getting a little bit more complex as you go down. Third one there, paid search, organic, back to paid search, back to an organic search, then got an email, then checked out a referral, and then converted on email. The bottom one there, starting with an organic search, and then started getting introduced to some paid, organic, direct, even some display ads, social network, email, and then in the end converted via organic. This one here pains me coming from a big paid search background. This person actually went through paid search 19 different times. So 19 different times this person was clicking ads. So not super fun for the paid search team, but this is reality. This happens a lot. This one here was actually from a lead gen client of ours. I thought it was really interesting how it kind of started out. Starting out through a social media, organic, social, and then just went back and forth, social media referral, really doing their due diligence looking into this company. Then later on started getting some paid search, email, organic, and then in the very end converted via paid search. And then you get some people like this. I don't know what the hell this person was thinking, but literally went through almost every channel possible, starting with a paid search ad, and literally every single channel you could imagine, direct, organic, referral, paid search, email, display ads, and the very, very end converted via email. And believe it or not, so this was over 250 touch points. So this one customer here had 250 plus touch points before they converted. And this happens all the time. So as marketers, we understood this. We used to market to very specific channels where customers were, and we realized that they are across all these different channels. So we as marketers switched to what's called multi-channel. And multi-channel marketing does hit all the right channels. We're on all the right channels. However, there's still a big problem with that. So although a multi-channel strategy uses all those right channels, they're still very distinct and individual, which can lead to a very confused and fragmented journey. So to give you an example of this, so I own a rear-wheel drive car in Utah. Not so fun in the snow, as you could probably imagine. And believe it or not, when I bought my car, it came with summer tires. So summer tires plus rear-wheel drive plus Utah plus snow, not a very good mix. So I had to buy some new tires that could at least handle decent in the snow. So I went to Google and I did a search, and I searched for best all-season tires for snow. Wasn't sure if I wanted to commit to winter tires yet, but at least wanted to find something pretty decent. I landed on an organic landing page. It was actually some pretty good Evergreen content / pillar page. I looked through there, I read the content, looked through some tires, clicked on the ones that I wanted, gave them my email, and then I left, didn't buy anything. This is kind of what I started seeing. So when I went to the site in the beginning, I saw an offer here for $175 back on select 4 tires. Later on, I did another search later on and got a PPC ad. Wasn't really any offer in it, just kind of a generic PPC ad here. Started getting some banner ads from PPC, another very generic one, not very specific to my search. And then it started getting interesting. I got one for $80 off, which is completely different than the original $175, which was kind of odd. Then on social media, then I got another PPC ad, tire sale, buy 3, get 1 free. And then on social media, got up to $200 back, which was more than all the other ones. And then, believe it or not, on email, I got the worst offer of all, which was $25 back and maybe an extra $25 if I use their credit card, which is kind of sad. Usually the email gets the best offers. So obviously there's still a problem. So one of the problems is that only 14% of organizations say they're currently running coordinated marketing campaigns across all their channels. So as you can see, all those different ads had very different messaging, very different offers. The consumer sees you as one brand. They don't know that you're A/B testing on social media and then you're A/B testing something completely different on paid search. The consumer sees you as one brand. They don't know that. So by doing that, you're actually just confusing the customer. And actually over 11% of companies have 0 interactions and consistency across any channel. So 11% have 0 consistency whatsoever. And then tying it all back to the consumer, 90% of consumers expect consistent interactions across all channels. So as marketers, a lot of us move from what's called multi-channel to cross-channel, not quite to omni-channel just yet. So I did the same thing. I went over and I searched for all season tires for snow, landed on an organic landing page, spent time in there, chose my size, browsed around, found the ones I wanted, entered my email and left. And here's what I started getting. So when I went via organic, got an offer for a $70 rebate. PPC ads, started getting some banner ads, $70 rebate, $70 rebate. A lot of the ads were very generic. Another one for $70 rebate on paid search. Social media, enter this in for a $70 rebate. And then email as well, same thing, $70 rebate. However, there's still a problem with this. None of the channels were really working together or share any data. They were all very generic ads, and none of them even knew which tires I was looking at specifically. They were all very different. Even a lot of the branding of it kind of looked different as well within all those ads. So there was no personalization, no segmentation with any of those touch points that I had. And the channels are still competing to close rather than assist. Every single channel was just $70 rebate, $70 rebate, $70 rebate. They weren't really pushing me towards my goal. They weren't really showing me reviews of the tires I looked at. They weren't showing me the exact tires I looked at to get me to come back. So 55% of companies, so more than half, have 0 cross-channel strategy in place. So they're not even being consistent with what they're offering. And then back to the consumer, 87% of customers think that brands need to put more effort into providing a seamless and integrated experience. So as marketers, we need to move away from cross-channel and move into omni-channel. So what is omni-channel? Omni-channel is viewing the experience through the eyes of your customer, orchestrating the customer experience across all channels so that it is seamless, integrated, and consistent. Omnichannel shares data and strategies across channels, anticipating that customers may start on one channel and move to another as they progress to a resolution. And very simply put, Omnichannel is cross-channel marketing done right. Whoops. So, how do we create omnichannel strategy around our evergreen content? I want to do a quick refresher on evergreen content and like pillar pages on your website for SEO. So evergreen content is quality, useful content that stays relevant and fresh for a long period of time. You don't have to update it very often. It's optimized for SEO. It can drive traffic to your site through organic search. It's a great resource for site visitors. It can really position your brand as an expert in your space. And no, it's not part of your blog. So what are some types of evergreen content that people typically put on their site? This can be how-tos, top tips, guides, reviews, comparisons, lists. It can be case studies, checklists, and more. So I wanted to give you an example of some evergreen content as we kind of walk through this. And I really love the movie Tommy Boy, so I wanted to use that as an example. Hopefully you guys have seen it before. If you're familiar with the movie Tommy Boy, they sell brake pads in the movie, so I wanted to use that as an example. So let's say you own a website, you're selling brake pads, and you want to create some really good content on there. So you want to start with your keyword research. Make sure to do keyword research first. Find some keywords with good volume that's relevant that you feel you can rank for. So in this example, if you did that, maybe we came up with the keywords, types of brake pads, best type of brake pads, etc. And then you create your piece of content and you publish it on your site. So now you have this awesome piece of content up on your website, literally telling you the difference between all the types of brake pads. I was actually shocked when I looked at this. There's a lot of different materials of brake pads, and you could literally compare price, performance, wear and tear, which ones are going to cause more brake dust when you're braking. So you have this great piece of content, literally telling people everything they need to know about purchasing the right type of brake pads. However, do not just use your evergreen content for SEO. A lot of the time that's the strategy, that's what I hear. People are just creating this content for SEO and they're not integrating any of the other channels. So why? SEO takes time. I'm sure anyone here that's done SEO takes a lot of time, sometimes a lot more time than you thought in the beginning. And the rankings are not guaranteed. We can do all the best practices, we can do everything the right way, but we still can't guarantee the rankings. Google can update their algorithm at any time and things can change pretty quickly. And then most important, you're missing out on conversions. Do not get stuck doing a multi-channel strategy. So here's an example of like a basic flow of what things can happen. If let's say you get ranked on your evergreen content, you're ranking on Google, you're starting to get some organic traffic in. So basically traffic's going to come in through organic, they're going to land on your evergreen content. Hopefully you have some good calls to action, maybe a form on there that can push them over to a product or service page and get them to convert. If people bounce off, they're most likely going to get bucketed into a generic remarketing campaign, just like as if they landed on any other page on your site. So what are some ways that you can integrate other channels with your evergreen content? I broke it down into 4 different things to keep it simple. First one is driving traffic. The second one is nurturing. The third is retargeting. And then the fourth is testing gated content. So first, starting with traffic. Traffic is the easiest way to integrate other channels to send people over to your evergreen content. And believe it or not, there's a couple free ways to do it. So starting with some free ways, the first one is post on social media. You already have social media, make sure to post on social media. Post it on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn. Repurpose some of that, add those images, post it on social media. And then another big one is turn your evergreen content into a video. Not a lot of people are doing this. You'll actually realize if you do certain searches that would lead to evergreen content, at the top of the search results, you're going to see a banner with a bunch of videos. Typically, it's just an average person talking about a product or a service or leaving a review. Not a lot of companies are showing up there. That's because they're not creating videos. You could create a video about your evergreen content and show it up at the top as well as below in the organic results. Another free way to drive traffic is do not forget about your existing contacts. So many businesses have existing contacts from previous purchasers, maybe leads that you've gathered. You have contacts. Make sure to use that. Use it with your email and marketing automation. You can send out a monthly newsletter, promote your evergreen content, and get them to come over to your website. You could create an upsell flow for previous purchasers. If they purchased a different product, send them over your evergreen content, send them an email, get them over there. And as a huge tip, make sure to share that data with the other channels because they can use that. Moving over to the paid side, obviously there's a lot of different paid ways to drive traffic over to your evergreen content. Starting with paid social. We just talked about organic social posting on Facebook. You can also boost those posts. Make sure to boost those posts, create some social ads around that, and get more people over to your content. As far as targeting goes, you can use those existing contacts from your marketing automation platform and target those people. You can create lookalike audiences off of that list, and then obviously create different custom targeting for different audiences that would be interested in your content. Also with paid, you can do search ads, obviously. You don't want to compete too much with your other keywords. You can target some more broad, top of funnel, low CPC keywords and get them over to that evergreen content. You can also send it to gated content, which we'll go over in a bit. And then also display and YouTube ads. I've seen display and YouTube perform excellent for a lot of our clients. So you can use those existing contacts that was shared from marketing automation, create lookalike audiences off of those. You can target it based off of keyword and custom intent and custom affinity. You can even target certain placements on where you want to place your ads to drive people to your content. And then shifting gears a little bit, so this is an example of a client where we took their evergreen content that was on their website and turned it into a video. So we have a big personal injury lawyer down in Las Vegas, and we have an evergreen piece that is about what happens when you're injured at work in Nevada, since they handle workers' compensation cases. And they have that page on their site, gets a little bit of traffic, it's pretty good, and then we decided to turn it into a video. And once we turned it into a video, we started advertising that video on YouTube. And some of our YouTube ad targeting was keyword and custom intent, so basically targeting all the keywords we were on search, targeting that with the video. Anyone that searched that on search, even if they didn't hit our site, we can target them with our video. And we also did a custom affinity targeting where we plug in all the competitor URLs. So any person that's visiting sites similar content as our competitor URLs, we can target them. So with our original search campaign going after that those low funnel keywords, we had a cost per acquisition of $121.14, and our cost per click was about $38. And then we started running the video ads. And with our video, we were able to get a cost per acquisition of $16.39. And if you break it down to a cost per click to the page, it was 44 cents and a cost per view of 8 cents. So literally pennies just to show our video per view. Still not even $1 yet for the cost per click, and our cost per acquisition was over $100 cheaper than our search campaign. And then believe it or not, our video campaign now gets up to 3 times the leads than our search campaign does. With our search campaign, we have a pretty high impression share, meaning we're kind of maxing out as much as we can get from it. Once we turn on video, now we're getting about 3 times the leads than our search campaign, which is crazy. And then just by running the video campaign alongside our search campaign cost per acquisition dropped as well, down to $89.35, so it dropped by 26%. And then last but not least, driving traffic over to your evergreen content is programmatic. Let's say you have an expo, like given the Tommy Boy example, if there's an auto expo, people really into cars, people you know that's probably going to install those brake pads themselves, you could geofence around that and start targeting them. If you have a conference like this, you could literally target anybody that walks in. You can target competitor physical locations, and then with programmatic now, you can even start targeting like the IPs of the businesses that you want to target. So now you have literally all these channels funneling traffic into your evergreen content. You're not just relying on organic traffic anymore. So second, nurturing. Make sure to nurture those. Not everybody's going to buy as soon as they land on your page. People are going to leave. There's going to be more touch points. Make sure you have good touch points via email. Make sure you create personalized flows for any new contacts that you do get, as well as any custom flows for existing contacts that ended up visiting that page. Let your contacts self-segment themselves if you have the right marketing automation platform that has lead scoring. And if you ever have a high intent group of contacts, make sure to share that with your other channels. So here's an example of kind of a basic email flow that you can do. So somebody comes in and views your evergreen content and you have their contact information. If they convert, that's awesome, that's great. We can start sending them a welcome series of emails or maybe an upsell series into additional products, but maybe they don't convert. You want to start what's called a nurturing campaign. So in that nurturing series, they viewed our evergreen content, they're educating themselves. Maybe I can send them another educational email about that same product. And then based whether or not they open that email, I can send them additional emails. So maybe they did open it and they didn't click at all. I'm going to hit them with some more educational content. Or maybe they did click it, but they didn't click to my website. I can then maybe send an email showing them maybe some product reviews, continuing them down that journey. And if they do click and they do convert, obviously that's great. And then we can start that welcome series or that upsell series. And then also if they weren't converting yet, we can start hitting them with an offer once we know that they're really engaged. And then also with retargeting, make sure to retarget your audiences. You can retarget them on Google, on social media, via display, YouTube search, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, even Twitter. You can retarget them. But when you're retargeting, make sure to segment and personalize your remarketing efforts across channels. Do not just have one blanket remarketing campaign that targets everybody that visited your site. Make sure you customize it to those users. So people that viewed your Evergreen content, an example could be you could target them based off of time on page or scroll depth. Maybe someone went to your Evergreen content, they were only on it for 30 seconds or so. We know that they didn't engage with it completely. We could retarget them and say, hey, come back, do not buy brake pads until you finish reading this, make sure you get the right type. You can also target them based on any links they click or URLs they visit on your site, so you can send them very specific remarketing ads. And then last, make sure to test gated content. So what is gated content? Gated content is basically content that requires a form to access. It can be an article, it can be an ebook, a white paper, or even a video. Or also webinars is a common one as well. So basically, if they want to see your Evergreen content, they need to give you their name, email, phone number. And roughly 80% of gated content out there is B2B, which I thought was pretty interesting. So to give you an example of this, we have a B2B client that we run gated content for. So we use all those different channels to drive traffic into that gated content. And then we basically have nurture emails and specific remarketing campaigns for that. And with our original search campaign going straight for like a demo, for example, so we have a search campaign for those low funnel keywords. Our cost per demo right now is $1,367, so pretty expensive. But once we started running gated content, that changed very quickly. So sending people to a white paper of some Evergreen content, we ended up with a cost per download of only $15. And then when that actually turned into a demo, it was a cost per demo of $100. Which is absolutely crazy. About $1,000 cheaper to run them through the gated content with the Evergreen content, rather than just sending them to a regular landing page asking for a demo. So we need to make sure that we're doing omnichannel with our Evergreen content and our other marketing efforts. So don't just have the standard organic traffic comes in to your Evergreen content, you have a basic remarketing campaign and then they convert. Make sure to utilize all your other channels to funnel traffic in. Have specific remarketing campaigns, have specific email campaigns, so it's very personalized and helps that user down their journey. Pretty awesome, right? So how do we make the shift over to omnichannel? So I broke it down into 4 areas. First is cohesion and consistency. We need to make sure that we're consistent with our ads. We're not A/B testing completely different things across channels. Make sure that they're consistent across those channels. Also, 2, coordination, not competition. Whether it's intentional or unintentional, a lot of the times different channels will start competing with one another. Everyone wants to close the deal, everyone wants that conversion, so everyone starts competing, giving different offers and that sort of thing. We need to stop that. We need to make sure our channels are coordinating with one another so that we can bring our customers through that journey to a conversion. 3, understand your top conversion paths. So just like I was showing earlier with those screenshots of those customer journeys, you can see that in Google Analytics. Go through to your top conversion paths and understand that. Figure out how most of your customers are converting, what channels are they going through, which ones are in the middle, not just at the end, not just at the beginning, where are all those touch points. And then 4, know your assist leaders, or as I call them, your John Stocktons. Some of you may know John Stockton's the all-time leading assist leader in the NBA. No one's ever going to touch his record in the history of time. Know which channels are giving you assists in your Google Analytics. They're not the leading scoring leader, which might not sound as great, but it's still super important. Understand all your channels that are leading to those assists. May not be getting the close, but they're helping with it. If any of you are NBA fans or knew the Utah Jazz, Karl Malone wouldn't have been anything without John Stockton. So imagine your digital marketing campaigns without a John Stockton, and then imagine them with one. So why omnichannel? Believe it or not, campaigns integrating 4 or more digital channels will outperform single or dual channels by 300%. So much better with integrating all your channels compared to just a single or dual channel campaign. Also, companies with strong omnichannel customer engagement see a 9.5% year-over-year increase in their annual revenue compared to a 3.4% for weak omnichannel companies. Also, omnichannel consumers spend up to 25% more than standard multi-channel consumers, which also makes it so omnichannel customers have a 30% higher lifetime value than those who shop using only one channel. And then I don't have the stat in here right now, but retention was also much, much higher for anyone that uses omnichannel compared to companies that don't. And then tying it all back to the consumer. Again, 87% of customers think brands need to put more effort into providing a seamless and integrated experience. Consumers viewing a consistent message across a variety of channels can actually improve their purchase intent by 90%. So I wanted to end on the same quote as I said from earlier, which is today, you're not behind your competition, you're not behind the technology, you are behind your consumer. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah. That's a good question. I'd have to probably look into it a little bit. I believe it does help with the bounce rates. As far as where we've been testing it is a lot on the YouTube ad side, so kind of creating specific YouTube videos that aren't really like super salesy. It's more informational, really educating somebody. Those ones have performed the best, and we've actually seen a lot of good conversions come out of those. So as far as like them converting, if they do click over the landing page, is much better than a regular search campaign that we've run. Yep. Yeah. There's ways you can get email contacts. If you get them from your website, great, or previous purchasers, yeah. And then there are some ways where you can obtain those email addresses and maybe do like a warming series to kind of warm up that email list before you start kind of sending them down towards an offer or through a journey exactly. Yeah, you would need email. Marketing automation platforms will allow you to do some stuff without email, but we can kind of chat about that later. Cool. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's really good to have a really solid marketing automation platform. That really helps tie in a lot of the different channels and everything. And then just really making sure that you're coordinating with all your other channels, whether it's internally. That's one reason I love working at Avalanche is I can run strategy. Like Dave said earlier, we have a paid search team, we have an SEO team, we have the marketing automation people there. I can literally pull everyone in a room, we can strategize together and make sure that we have a full cohesive strategy. Yeah.
What's your opinion about voice search devices and stuff like that, like Alexa?
Yeah. So they've come a long way, and I definitely make sure to optimize for those, especially when you create that evergreen content, you can make sure to answer those questions. One way Google can pick it up is if it is a question-based one, that you answer it right away at the top of your content. You can also hopefully show up on like a featured snippet on the very top of Google by doing that. And just making sure you understand the different types of voice searches that they do so you can optimize for that. Cool.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks so much, Mitch. Okay, so 2 quick questions before the break. First one, according to Google, how many touch points does the average consumer have? It's 20 to, what was the max number? Yeah. 500, yep, correct. Come on up. Awesome. Okay. Next question. What is gated content? Yes. Exactly. Yeah. So gated content, you have to give something to get it. So fill out a form. And it's like ebooks or white papers. Awesome. Okay. Great job. Okay, so we have a 10-minute break now. I think we're a couple of minutes after 10:20. So we'll meet back here. We'll start right at 10:35. So you have a couple extra minutes. And then we're going to hear from Adam Durfee. What was that? Oh, yeah, okay. So during the break, we have Avalanche custom t-shirts, which is pretty cool. So we have different sizes of t-shirts, different colors, and then we have, I think, 3 or 4 different designs that you can choose from. So you can pick your color of t-shirt and then the design that you want on it. And then we have a custom press right here. So they'll be hot off the press and ready for you to throw on today. So feel free to go back into that corner and get your custom t-shirt. We'll have it during every single break as well as lunch, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, if the line gets kind of long right now, then you can go during a different break.